is Vinnie the G. Some people ask me, "Hey Vinnie, what does the G stand for?" And so I tell them. If you're my friend, it's Goomba. And if you're not my friend, it's Goodfellow. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. I was in Tucson, and I saw an Italian bakery. Well, at least it had an Italian name. So I stopped in. I says, "Give me a dozen cannoli." So I take them home, give them to my wife. I said, "This is a surprise." She takes them into the kitchen. Then she tells me, "Hey, what kind of surprise is this?" I said, "It's cannolis." She said, "That ain't no cannoli. That's cottage cheese wrapped up in a tortilla." The further away you move from the east, the more chances you take. You don't know what you're gonna get. Out here, they just ain't got no class. Hey, this is Vinnie. I went to visit my niece. She said, "Uncle Vinnie, can I have a couple $100?" I said, "Sure. What do you want for it?" She said, "It's for the plastic." I said, "What plastic?" She said, "For the sofa upstairs. The plastic. It's turning yellow." I never even sat on the sofa, and now I'm paying for new plastic. Relatives. What? What can you do? Hey, this is Vinnie the G. We got a dog. He's a big guy. His name is Beretta. And we got a sign outside the house. It says, "If you break in, if this Beretta don't get you, the other one will." We ain't never been broke in. We can't even get pizza delivered. Sometimes too much security is bad. Hey, this is Vinnie the G. I was talking to some of my friends in the city, and they said, "Hey Vinnie, how come you don't talk like us anymore?" And I told them, I said, 30 years living in Arizona, you wouldn't talk like you either. Language. It's just another casualty of the witness protection program. But then I started to think, maybe 1 month out of the year I'll sneak back east, hang out in the city for a while, and then I could take those electrocution lessons. The ones that help you to speak better. Maybe that'll please them. Who knows? I was at a restaurant, and a guy comes over and he says, "Hey Vinnie, what's the G stand for?" And I knew he was a wise ass. So I told him, "It stands for the good fellows." He said, "So what's a good fellow?" So I told him, down south, they got the good old boys. Up north, we got the good fellows. And so he says, "Yeah, so what's the difference?" So I told him, you give a baseball bat to one of the good old boys, they play baseball. You give a bat to one of the good fellows, he plays a game of kneecap. He stopped asking me questions. Just like that. Unbelievable. I thought he was curious. Maybe not. My wife and I got invited to a friend for supper. He's a big guy. Bluish eyes, light skin, light hair, but that's okay. We're sitting down at the table, and he comes walking out with a carafe of something pink. So I said, "Hey, what's that?" He said, "That's the wine." So I reached down in a basket that me and my wife brought, and I pulled out a bottle of Chianti, and I put it on the table. I says, "No, that's wine." But I let it slide. Later on, he comes walking out with this bowl, and I said, "Hey, what's in the bowl?" He said, "It's salad." I said, "How can that be salad? It's like a sickly green color." He said, "It's iceberg." I said, "We're from a warm country. What do we know about icebergs?" Some people, they just ain't got no class. I was with a few friends, and someone said, "Hey, let's go out and do a little target practice." No, I mean, really, target practice. So we go out to the desert, and we shoot at a few cans. And I tell him, "Hey, let me see your gun." He gives it to me. This gun is plastic. How you gonna beat somebody up with a gun made out of plastic? You ain't gonna get no respect. Class. Some people, they just ain't got it. I have a friend. He's half Italian and he's half Swiss. And he tells me when he goes shopping for cheese, he never knows what to bring home. So I told him, you go out, you buy the biggest Italian cheese you could find. You know, the ones that hang down from the ceiling? Bring it to my house. I'll take out the Beretta. And then you know what? You'll have the best cheese. And you'll have the whole stew. Some people, they just don't know how to be creative. What can you do? I was at a restaurant, and a guy comes over, and he says, "Hey, Vinny, when you finish that cigar, could I have the cigar band?" I said, "Sure. But what do you want the cigar band for?" He said, "So that when I'm out with people, I'll put that cigar band on my cheap cigar, and they'll think that I got class." I said, "Okay, you know, I got an empty bottle of Chianti. You know, the one with the whisker basket around it? You can have that too. You can fill it up with Colo Rossi before you put it on the table." Some people just don't have no class. I pulled up to this cafe with my Lincoln. I park it in front. I'm sitting at the table, and a guy comes up and says, "Hey, Vinny, why does such a small guy need such a big car?" I says, "Come with me, I want to show you something." So I open the trunk. There's a couple of 100 pounds of cement. I tell him, "You know, that's enough cement to sink a whale. Or at least 4 guys who want to know too much about cars." That was about a year ago. He ain't never asked me about cars no more. I think he lost interest in cars. Hey, this is Vinnie the G, and I got 2 nephews. One of them, I can't tell you what he does. The other one, he's a dentist. One of them knocks the teeth out, and the other puts them back in. This is perfect. How can you lose? I got some uncles. One of them is named Carmelo. They call him Tom. The other, his name is Salvatore. They call him Sammy. Salvatore. You can't have a better name than Salvatore. Some people, they just ain't got no class. I was at a table, and a guy comes over, and he stares at my cigar. And he keeps staring at it. So finally, I tell him, hey, a woman is just a woman, but a cigar, it's a good smoke. So the guy says, oh, that's a parody. I says, no, you dummy, you mean parody. And it's not even a parody. It's a denobile. Some people, they just ain't got no class. Some guy come up to me and he said, hey Vinny, you a pretty funny guy. You should do that stand-up comic. I said, at my age, I don't care about that. I'm gonna do the sit-down comic. You don't have to stand up to be funny. I was at this affair, and a guy comes up to me and he says, Vinnie the G, that's Vinnie the Guinea, right? So I said, you know what, come outside with me, I want to show you something. So I go out to my car and I lift up the trunk and I show him 100 pounds of cement, and I tell him, you know, that's enough to sink a whale. Or at least 5 wise asses like you. You should see how fast the color left his face. Some people, they just gotta be taught manners.